We come to part 3 of our message now, the way God works. And this is the fact that Jesus meets us in life. So let me ask you the question, where are you at in your life right now? You might be in the middle of a stressful time, or you might be in the middle of a good time. Maybe you're moving house, and that can be very stressful. Maybe you're recovering from a surgery or an illness. Maybe you're right stuck in the middle of family issues. Maybe you're struggling to know what your purpose is right now for God. It doesn't matter where we find ourselves. God is there, even if it doesn't feel like it. And this was true for Johnson Oatman. He wrote the hymn called No, Not One. He was an insurance industry worker as well as an ordained Methodist minister. You don't hear those two go together very often, do you? Much like an ex-bank manager. Anyway, that's another story. But Johnson Oatman, he couldn't get a church because he wasn't a good preacher. He liked to sing, but everyone compared him to his father, who was one of the best singers in the state. So even though he had above average abilities in singing, he didn't know where he fit in. And that's why he needed a friend like Jesus. We all need a friend like Jesus, don't we? You don't have to be down and out in the hospital to sing this song. We all go through good times and hard times and stress and loneliness. We are all in need of a friend, and Jesus knows that. There is no friend like him. No one else can show the grace that he has shown us. Hence, there's not a friend like the lowly Jesus. No, not one. No, not one. In Ephesians 2, verses 4 to 9, Paul wrote about this wonderful grace that this friend called Jesus gives us. Paul wrote, "But because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive with Christ, even when we were dead in transgressions. It is by grace you have been saved, and God raised us up with Christ and seated us with him in the heavenly realms in Christ Jesus, in order that in the coming ages he might show the incomparable riches of his grace, expressed in his kindness to us in Christ Jesus. For it is by grace that you have been saved, through faith, and this is not from yourselves, it is a gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast." And so again, we know that God will meet us right where we are, right where you are right now, in the midst of whatever you are in. Good, to celebrate with you; hard, to comfort you, to walk with you. God will meet us right where we are, even when we don't think we deserve him or his wonderful grace. You see, some people don't get it and they work hard to earn it, not really understanding it. John Wesley was one of them. Martin Luther was another, until they got it. Others display their misunderstanding of God's grace by concluding that it is inaccessible to them. They know that they cannot be good enough for God, so they despair of ever having a relationship with him. And it's this second group that Julia Johnson was writing for. She knew how important it was to understand and experience the simple yet difficult truth of God's gracious forgiveness. She lived in Peoria, Illinois, and was a Sunday school teacher. She wrote over 500 hymns. Over 500 hymns. But this seems to be the one that's well known. It powerfully teaches this essential Christian truth that God's grace is far greater than any sin that you have committed. All you have to do is receive it. And so let's sing about that together now. The friend we have is Jesus. There's not one like him. but let's sing about that grace that he offers that is greater than our sin could ever be. Grace greater than our sin. Let's worship.